Welcome, everybody, to the Loud and Drunk podcast. This is Dan. We are going to be talking about aliens in this episode. Moses, do you believe in extraterrestrial life?
I believe in a thing called love, and I love all beings, whether they come from the heavens, from space, or from the toilet, like the ghoulies, or maybe some of those chuds.
Oh, that's fantastic. Justin, sir.
Hey.
Do you believe in extraterrestrial life?
I mean, I definitely feel like there has to be something out there if you're going to do the math on it, but not necessarily really sure they would come to visit us, of all people.
I myself, I am Antonio Rasputin. Very happy to be here. I'm not sure if I believe that these other entities exist, but I do believe in the sanctity of our borders. I think that's the thing that we should all really care about, and I'm just happy to kind of dive into that conversation today.
Excellent. But before we get going, let's pay the rent. Underground. Located in historic Smith Mill Village, on the way to Atlantic City, is Jersey's coolest proprietor of rock and roll and punk rock apparel, horror merch, posters, accessories, and more. Also located online at theoriginalunderground.com. Underground. It's a bad store for bad people.
That sounds fantastic. I'm very interested in that.
Does sound right up my alley.
Yeah. I'm a bad person.
I mean, I could be worse, but I think I'd be all right there.
It seems like you might still be able to shop there. I don't know.
I could use some...
What?
punk rock
Haberdashery?
things? I don't know. I could use a haberdasher, maybe an apothecary.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know what
Ooh,
any
a
of these words
cobbler.
mean.
Do they have a cobbler?
That's a shoe doctor,
Yes,
right?
a shoe doctor.
All right, gentlemen.
Not Dr. Martin, but a different shoe company.
Let's not make this introduction 10 minutes. Because I need to encourage the audience to subscribe to this podcast. We are on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Rumble, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. If you are on YouTube and Rumble, smash that like button, leave us a comment, share this video with your friends, and get in on the conversation by joining us on social media at Loud and Drunk on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. All right, guys, as we talked about at the top of the show, we were talking about aliens. Did anybody take a gander at all of these UFO hearings, because they came up pretty conveniently as we were talking off mic. We were saying like, oh yeah, right around that magical year known as 2020, all of a sudden the government was like, oh yeah, UFOs are a thing.
I got engaged that year. It was very magical.
I paid attention, and not like I set the clock to try to watch these hearings or anything, but I definitely came across them.
It was like Star Wars, but it was C-SPAN about space instead of in space.
Love that.
Interesting. I'm still going to work on that mentally for a bit while I still talk. Yeah, so like growing up, and obviously I guess you could probably say since like the Roswell incident and all that stuff, there's like big love affair with extraterrestrial life, and is it out there, and all through media and stuff like that. And, you know, it's always been the big question. And then, you know, those dark years came and went. And then all of a sudden, yes, it's real. They're not UFOs, they're UAPs, but congressional hearings? And it's wild.
That's such a government thing to do, by the way. No, we're just going to change.
Well, they were done bitching or trying to figure out what Facebook is. So let's move on to something else. And aliens. We don't know what that is either. So whatever.
It's just so wild to me that it goes that far to like a House subcommittee to actually have hearings about it. I know that there were several over the past couple years. And I think I only really started because, like, you know, those COVID years, I wasn't really paying attention to a whole lot, I'll be honest with you. Even more recently, there have been hearings from, like, retired top, like, Navy brass and pilots, all talking about Tic Tacs and UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, I think it's now called. It's wild.
Are Tic Tacs from space?
There is a particular...
They're like mints. They come in, when you get them in orange, they're fucking phenomenal.
They are good.
They're really good.
You're an orange
Candy.
Tic Tac guy.
Yeah, I'm very much so an orange Tic Tac guy, yeah, for sure. They're really good.
Have you ever
They're
had the
like
berry one?
No, that doesn't sound very appealing.
I like berries.
Back on task, boys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anywho.
In the beginning of it, we'll say a couple years ago, I wasn't really paying much attention to it. But I know, like, some hearings happened only a couple months ago, I think, where, you know, there's one that's called, like, the Tic Tac thing, because I guess this UAP looked like a Tic Tac. I guess, if I remember correctly, cited by some pilots. that we're checking it out, and it moved in ways that anything known to us cannot, and our understanding of physics cannot move. Like, just stopping and then going at ungodly speeds. There was one that I guess went and, like, shot down into the ocean, so maybe aliens are from the ocean. This is only going to get more and more confusing, boys.
I remember in the 90s, because aliens were a big thing at that time, because we had a lot of alien movies. There was Independence Day. I believe Signs was, or maybe that was in the 2000s.
Signs.
Mars Attacks.
But Mars Attacks, there was
great,
but
great movie.
I think they did the War of the Worlds then.
They did they did several
or
remakes.
remakes. I was just being introduced to acid at that time, and we had this idea that they're about to tell, like, they're trying to get us ready for aliens. That's why they're putting out all of this alien kind of.
They're doing the slow
Like
roll.
the government was warming the girl up.
Well, they were warming the populace up to accept
right.
it a little easier, because, like,
That makes
you
me feel
need-
very dirty.
You need a little bit of foreplay.
yeah,
I'm about
that's-
that.
But then it never really came. There was no fruition there.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like a dead storyline that they just wrote
You
off.
heat me up and we're going nowhere? I just got to go home.
As much as the government does, yes.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, the government, as the government does, they do slow roll very well.
I mean, my opinion of it in general is, I don't know all the things you guys are talking about, but my feeling is that we've got a lot of hardworking Americans in this country. Right now, we've got the UAW, we've got the automotive workers that are on strike, and I don't think that we should really be doing anything to invite more aliens into this country. I think that there's a lot of people here who have the right to be here. They were born on they were born in this country, they were born on this planet, so on and so forth. And I think that that's really where we need to be putting the priority. The idea that we're allowing these aliens to come in, illegal and otherwise, I don't care if they came from Mars or another planet, I don't know where people come from, but wherever they came from, I think that it's very important that you come here legally. Right, not just, whatever it is. I don't know. They're coming by cars, landing spacecraft. I don't know what exactly we're talking about, but I think that they should come here legally and they should sign up in the appropriate way. Pay your taxes, do what's right, because there's a lot of people who were born here and maybe aliens they're not doing what they need to do to kind of spread out spread out the work amongst everybody else. That's my concern.
That's fair, but I have a question to that. So say two aliens that came from Mars, we'll say.
Okay.
And they went through all the proper channels to become Americans.
Right. Yeah.
And they have a child here. Now, is that child American or is it still alien? And how do you feel about that?
Is this Coneheads?
Was the child born?
It was born on. It was born
Are there
on.
people coming here from
terra
Mars?
firma,
Is
yes.
my first question.
Well, the parents came from Mars, went through all the legalization.
I didn't even know this. So this is like crazy news to me. I didn't know there was
It's the
people coming here from
Gutierrezes.
Mars.
They live
but
right around the corner.
If they did come here from, so you're saying that like one of the parents is like from this planet?
Yes,
but another one.
Now
isn't?
they've done all they've went through all the proper paperwork to become American.
See, I didn't even know this. I'm actually very ignorant of this. If one of their parents is from here, but the other one is from Mars, you said?
Or they're just born in America.
I don't know. That's a difficult question. My feeling is that like if the person is an American, like they were born here, they're a proper American, like maybe they do have Martian blood in them, but like I feel like we should still respect them as an American. But the father at that point, was it the father or the mother? I don't even know.
Well, it was both of them, but they did go through all the proper channels to become Americans.
So
everything's
both of
all
the
above
parents
board.
are
Yes.
from, they're not
Yes.
even from here?
They're not from here,
I
but
don't
they're
know.
above
That's
board.
difficult.
They
That's
filled out all the
difficult.
forms. They pay their taxes.
Because like on the one hand, it's like I want to respect everybody who was born on the soil, but at the same point, like you're not even from this fucking planet. I didn't even know there's a thing. I didn't know there's
yeah.
people come from
What do
other
they call
planets,
it? They
but-
call it an anchor child or something,
So,
right?
yeah, it would be
Yes,
something like
No, I don't know. That's how, honestly, it's very shocking to me. But like just
that's why we have
digesting it
the Men
as
in
I am,
Black.
just as I'm digesting it as I am right here, I think that if you came from another planet, really, like, where are your allegiances? Are you on our side? Like, are you going to fight for this country? Because that's like one of the things that I lean back on. Are you willing to fight and die for the world that is America? We live on a planet and it's all inclusive and it's called the United States. And I feel like everyone who lives here, like if you want to be a part of it and reap the benefits of that, then you should be a member of the United States, like a United States citizen or something like that. I don't know what we call them, but
then by that,
but I don't know that we should apply that to people who came here from another planet, because that's not really fair.
Well, what about like a Superman scenario? Like, you're familiar with the story of Superman. Like,
Of
he
course
crash
I
landed
am.
here, but grew
Absolutely.
up, in Kansas.
Yeah,
with
the sun
American
makes him
parents.
powerful. Yeah.
But those aren't his blood parents.
Yeah.
But he still fights for America, more or less.
And I mean, and that's okay. I'm just saying, like, if we're talking about people who are coming here from another place, right? So, like, they're coming here. We're talking about illegally or legally.
Well, there wasn't really much choice because he crashed. Like, at least in the Superman
No,
scenario.
there's always a choice. You don't have to break the law.
He was a baby. He didn't
You
control
don't
the
have
spaceship.
to break the. Then he's a criminal if that's what he did. Did he? If he came here legally.
Well, here's the thing. You know, for a country that loves its borders so much, the government's been very mum about that border up there.
Exactly.
There's no fence up there.
And I'm so glad that you said that. We spend a fortune. This country spends billions of dollars, maybe trillions. I don't know. I don't know anything about any of these subjects.
It's a banana.
But we spend trillions, maybe gazillions of dollars, I don't know, defending the border against Mexico when the real threat, maybe it comes from the sky.
Maybe they all
to say
crash land in
otherwise?
Mexico.
Yeah. Maybe that, honestly,
And
because the
that's
border
what-
is so
that's
goddamn
what it
fucking
is.
loose, they can just fucking walk across it. And I don't
be.
know who these people are.
Now you swayed me.
And
All
are
right.
they contributing, or are they just like running a bodega somewhere? And we're all paying the taxes
Is
for
that
it.
not
Well, they're
contributing, though?
milking Earth's yellow sun, to use your own example, right? And is that fair to the rest of us? Right? We're all just getting as much sun as we can, but then we've got some people who come here and they're just reaping the benefits of it and get godlike powers. Is that fair to the rest of us?
You know, these are the questions of our age.
That is a hard question. Like, should he just live underground so he can't get the
Maybe.
sun?
Let's put a pin in this one for now.
All right.
And then maybe address it a little later on, maybe when we have a little more information. It looks like Dan has something to say to us.
Well, I just wanted to read this from Reuters. This is from a while ago, but I like the headline. Normalizing UFOs. Retired U.S. Navy pilot recalls Tic Tac encounter. So we're normalizing UFOs now.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
Well, that's what Big UFO wants. That's exactly the problem.
That does
That's what I'm
sound
saying.
like something Boeing or
Yeah.
Lockheed would do.
There's
you
a,
can't speak ill of the military-industrial complex, Moses.
it was
You'll get us in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Do you like your job or not?
All of a sudden,
That don't work.
Don't answer.
it doesn't matter. They'll just pick you up in a limo, and then all of a sudden they'll be like, "Oh, Moses, no one has ever meddled with the military-industrial complex and lived to tell the tale." And then they just slap a bunch of stickers that say Lockheed Martin on you and push you out.
Whatever. You know, the last time I was in a limo, that'd be awesome. See, you always look at the downside, man.
They also have guns. It's the military-industrial.
I don't have a gun. All right. I'm not allowed to have them.
Exactly.
I don't know if guns work in space, Dan.
Yeah, nobody could
They're
hear
not
you
picking
blast.
you up in a limo in space.
Right.
Well, that doesn't make any
They
sense.
don't have. Yeah, they should have space limos.
All right. So, from this article, retired U.S. Navy Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich has found herself in the glare of media attention ahead of a highly anticipated, this is from a while ago anyway, government report on UFOs, a subject she says she has little interest in despite actually encounter one on the job. I don't consider myself a whistleblower. I don't identify as a UFO person.
He's identity politics, man. Getting into everything.
Yeah. We need to own what we are. And honestly, the fact that this woman felt so pressured to deny her identity
How
as
brave.
a UFO person.
How brave she is to just call it out.
It's brave of her to have gotten up there and said anything at all. But the fact that she was shut down for believing in UFOs. That's what I heard.
Even though
here.
she doesn't identify as a UFO.
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't believe in them. But if she wanted to believe in them, then it's a shame that she's not allowed to.
Oh, so
As
it's a
per the
religion.
Congress.
Okay.
That's
Hey,
what I just
Stigma's
heard.
a real motherfucker.
Yeah, that's shameful. That's shameful.
That was written in our Constitution that she should be able to worship.
That's the
UFOs.
14th Amendment, I think.
Oh.
I think I speak for everyone
like
here
the
at the Loud and
13th
Drunk
step.
podcast that we support you coming out as a UFO person, Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You are
thank you.
allowed
Let us
to.
hear.
Yeah, we're here for you.
Yeah.
This is a safe space for
Hit
you
us
to
up
come
in the
out.
comments.
Are you an alien? Please, we'd love to talk to you.
But as you were mentioning before, Justin, it was during a routine training mission with the aircraft carrier U.S. Nimitz off the Southern California coast in November of 2004, which is weird that it's so
Yes.
far back that they're like, oh, now we're talking about
Right,
this.
yeah.
Dietrich and then her commanding officer, fellow pilot, David Fravor, were asked by another warship to investigate radar contacts in the area moving in an inexplicable fashion. She recounted they first noticed an unusual churning of the ocean surface before seeing what she and Fravor again, that
name, man.
is really throwing me off, have described as a smooth, white, oblong object resembling a large tic-tac breath mint flying at high speed over the water.
Well, at least they clarified that.
Yeah, I got a couple of jokes here. One is like it's in the sea, so it's probably like the Navy loves seamen. Couldn't it just be the Kraken?
God.
The Kraken. Flying? These are pilots.
An air Kraken.
And I heard that gag you said before. Never just named after an admiral, you motherfucker.
All right, I'm just saying. It's a terrible name.
It's named after an admiral. Well, yeah, it's better to be the USS George W. Bush or some shit.
Oh, I don't know. What does it shoot shoes at you?
Oh.
Well, I don't know anything about any of those individual subjects.
Either do I, but that hasn't stopped me.
But all that I could really chime in with is, does that person know what they saw? They could have seen anything.
Could have been the G's getting to them.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, we've had so many people who've seen very different things, and they could be anything. They could be Tic Tacs. They could be, I don't know.
Was it a
Mike
regular?
and Ike's.
Mike and Ike's.
Oh,
yeah,
those
absolutely.
liquors,
Thank you.
good and plenty. Those fucking gross bastards.
Oh, I love those. Yeah,
Really?
I actually enjoy those. Yeah.
Ugh, you're disgusting.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry.
That's gross.
Well, I have another article pulled up here from the New York Post. Infamous Tic Tac UFO seen by Navy pilot now spotted over England. Again, this is from a while ago. But to add to what you were talking about, UFO resembling a Tic Tac spotted in 2004 by former U.S. pilot. We already talked about that. But this time it's floating over England. Pictures of the notorious UFO were snapped by Lucy Jane Castle from Hinckley in Southwest. I am not pronouncing that.
Nope,
who managed
bother.
to grab a snap of the unexplained object and posted it on a UFO hunters page. Oh, that is that is already
the authority.
incredible. Yeah. So, which was found by the Daily Star. Again, this all seems sound very credible. It was hovering for a while, and within a blink of an eye, it had gone. I did not fuck that up, by the way. It had gone. That's what reads in this article.
It's written oddly.
Yes. Never seen anything like this before in that shape. Quickly took a picture while it was very still, and within a blink of an eye, it disappeared. How convenient.
Right.
How fucking convenient.
It is weird.
Make sure you get my good side.
Yeah, she's Snapchatting while she's flying a jet.
I'll say this, that myself, as a red-blooded American, we live in a country where every single day we're dealing with the strife that we have to deal with, whatever that may be, and it's different for everybody. But the military apparently has the means to observe these things, identify them. We've got aliens who are just floating above allied countries, floating above our own country. And what are we doing about it? What are we doing about it? Because I also read articles, and Dan, you didn't touch upon this, and that really makes me question like where your allegiance lies, because maybe it's a liberal thing. I don't know who pays you, but all that I can say about it is that every single day I read articles from unbiased news sources that there's at least 20 million illegal aliens entering this country every single day. And we're watching the borders as best as we can ever since we lost the real hero from the border about 4 years ago. But even without that, we've got people who are apparently coming in from the skies now. So what is that? Is that drones?
Well,
They're dropping them down into our country? Don't defend it. Don't defend it. Because I love this country. I love this country, Dan. And I wonder, we shut down the border, we shut down the rivers, we do what we can to keep it safe. But it seems like no matter what we do, here they are, just dropping in from anywhere, soaking up our social resources. There's kids in this country who need food, Dan. Do you not care about that?
No.
Oh, well, I mean, at least it's
That was it. That's the end of my argument.
Yeah. That was fairly resolute.
I mean, I don't agree with it, but I respect it.
But you asked what we're doing about it, and I will tell you what we're doing about it. From CNN Politics, officials and lawmakers push for more government transparency on UFOs.
Yes, I have seen that has been like the thing. We need the transparency about the UFOs.
What does that mean?
That's what we need the
What does that
transparency
mean?
on.
What does that mean? That's a real question.
3 retired military veterans testified Wednesday at a House hearing on unidentified God damn it, anomalous.
The government
You want me to read this?
You gotta love your acronyms.
Yeah.
Commonly known as UFOs, just say that, warning that the sightings are a national security problem, as you were just talking about, and that the
agree.
government has been too secretive about them.
Yeah.
Well, they have been very secretive.
Now, I will scroll down to this little paragraph right here, just 2 paragraphs in
Please.
between. The government characterizes the unexplained sightings of UAPs. That is a stupid acronym.
Yeah.
what did that stand for again?
It's like unidentified aerial phenomena, I think, or something along those lines.
Isn't that the
Anomalous?
Same
Anal-
as,
oh,
This is saying
anomalous. One of those, yeah.
It's how
same
aliens
as
get
UFO?
here.
They have to make it hard to say now, too.
Yeah.
No.
The government characterizes the unexplained sightings as UAPs and has released reports on the cases in recent years. Some of them still have not been explained, while others have been attributed to balloon or balloon entities,
This is Men
Oh,
in Black.
damn you, China.
as well as drones, birds, fucking birds.
Oh, the bird, but the birds. I mean, them and the squirrels.
Don't you start. That's a different
where I'm going.
podcast.
Weather events or airborne debris like plastic bags. So there we go. That's who invading our aerial borders, plastic bags. We need to get in on this. Oh, wait,
so
we
it's
already
just
did.
Donnie Darko.
So what I'm understanding from this is that illegal immigrants, aliens as it were, they're using plastic bags to parachute in.
No,
Yeah.
that's the illegal extraterrestrial aliens. That's
So they're
how getting
polluting
into
the land as well.
Yes.
Because we banned bags.
it. We did ban bags.
We did
banned
ban
all the
protect-
bags.
Why do you think we banned them?
So that's
that was
exactly
part
it.
of the protection.
See, and this is what's so shameful about it to me. It's that we, as good Americans, we've done our due diligence. We've stopped using plastic bags, and now they're fucking parachuting in with them.
Yeah.
And like,
Seems
where does
to
that
be the
end up?
case.
In our fucking rivers, our kids are drinking bags now.
Yeah.
Because aliens are dropping them off.
I am thirsty.
Well, guys, it sounds like we actually might be dealing more with a menace that could be traveling through time rather than aliens.
Uh-oh.
That strikes the fear of God into me.
Oh, it should. Because what if, guys, these alleged UFOs that aren't birds, plastic bags, and, just
Other
airborne trash.
miscellaneous, yeah.
What if these UFOs were time travelers trying to warn us
About getting rid of the plastic bags.
about getting rid of the plastic bags? What if they were just traveling through time and then they crash, and that's why the technology is so much greater than ours? What do you think about this fucking idea?
What the fuck?
How did they make these time traveling crafts if they don't have plastic bags in the future?
That's a fair question.
There's a lot of questions coming up. But
Yeah.
My sentiment about it is, and I think we're all talking about the same thing, that if immigrants in the future have figured out some sort of way that they can just like travel back in time to steal jobs from Americans, my opinion is the same, Dan. It really is. I think that we're all entitled to the jobs that we have here, and people should contribute to the country. Whether you advance to the year 2050 or maybe the year 3000, I don't know. But regardless, if you wanted to use time travel as a means to hurt this country, I'm not about that.
Sir,
I'm really not about it.
You are aware this is an episode of South Park that you're describing, right?
No, I've never heard of that. What is it?
The man doesn't even know what it is.
Is that a show?
so you're telling me these future fucks are coming here to our time
Yeah.
to steal our jobs,
That's what I'm saying.
take
Yeah.
our money,
Yeah.
and to send it back to the future?
Yeah, and that's just it. Like, if they're going to steal money and send it back to immigrants in Venezuela or Mexico, wherever it is,
In the future.
In the future,
in the future,
Venezuela.
yeah. I don't care what fucking time period it is. I think that that's money that should be allocated to Americans.
Okay,
Not
okay,
only in
okay,
this
no,
time period.
Hold on. I got a question. now. What
Wait
if
on
they
me.
are time travelers from the future United States, come here to steal jobs from the present United States?
Dan, I'm gonna spell it out for you right now. The Americans who have the right to American money, they're alive today. They're working jobs right now. They're busting their asses.
How do you know they're not from the future, though?
There's
How
no
do
way
we
to know they're not from the
Antonio's
future.
not from the future?
I
Oh,
did come
yeah.
from the
Are you
future,
from the
actually.
future? Where are you from? Mr.
we're not here to
Rasputin, if
talk
that is
about
your
me.
real name?
We're not here to talk about me. What matters?
Rasputin's an old name, so...
What matters is that The money that we make today here in this country is allocated to Americans who are making that money. Now, whether I came from the future or not, nobody's talking about that. We're not
No,
talking
that's
about
what I
that.
would like to talk about.
We're not talking about that.
Why would
Nobody
we talk
knows
about
what time
that?
period I came
You're an
from. That's
alien.
not relevant. What matters is that I did come from the future, and I represent people who work today. Who very
knew it,
much
and I'm
so.
also very
Shut the
confused.
fuck up! We're not talking about you. And
Have you
we're
ever seen
talking
the
about
show
Americans
Alien
who live today, and they need theirs. But we've got some people who came from the future that I'm here to stop.
I want to ask you a question.
Oh,
Should
so you're
we-
a time cop.
I have no response then. I'm
Oh,
willing to hear
he's a
what you have
time
to say.
cop.
I
It's
am
your
willing to
name,
hear what
Van
you have
Damme.
to say.
All right, pin it. Let Dan get in there.
So, as a time cop, do you want to build a time wall?
I am in favor of a time wall. I do think that we need to do something to keep time criminals out.
What about
Because-
a time dome?
Well, I don't know what the use of that would be. That's just over the top.
Well, they're coming from the sky, apparently.
Yeah, that's why I said it was over the top. Yeah, there we are.
You're not even wearing a hat.
I don't need to.
Yeah, well, you do. That's the switch.
In the time period that I come from, we have a dome.
Gentlemen, please, we are talking about aliens. We are not discussing about a Sylvester Stallone movie in which he arm wrestles for the custody of his child.
I just found out The Godfather and Scott Norton were in that movie and some other wrestlers.
Oh God.
Yeah, because they're all the arm wrestlers. But
Well, yeah.
Let's save that for another podcast.
Yes,
I know I said that I wanted this high noon, but I feel like I need something stronger.
Well, now
You dug your own grave, bub.
you reap the whirlwind now.
Well, listen, I always dig up towards the future. You shut the fuck up over there.
If that's how you live in that time.
Yeah, it is.
But what do you guys think about this cockamania idea?
Why would they come to this time? Why not go to a more simpler time?
Have you never seen Star Trek?
I just know I'm supposed to hate kids from Star Trek.
I'm not sure how you gathered that, but
That's all Next Generation is Picard hating children.
okay. I do need you to explain that.
What? Have you seen the first couple episodes
I
of Next
clearly
Generation?
have, based
And
on
he
my
hates children.
exasperation.
I went and did a
I've
rewatch of
definitely
that,
seen
and he
it,
hates
yeah.
All right.
children.
All right.
We're not talking about Picard.
Apparently we are.
Well, maybe we should.
Well, just at least put a pin in it.
Yeah.
So, you futurist bastard. Listen, this is a newer thought to me that the aliens would come from ourselves way down the road.
The aliens are coming from inside the species.
No!
So they're just evolved versions or devolved
They were
versions
just-
of us?
the movie AI did that, by the way. You remember that with that fucking kid? Like I
never
don't know
saw
what the
that
name
one.
of the kid.
No, that
you never
wasn't
saw the
that.
movie AI?
Nope, and I'm not going to argue about
No,
it.
AI
God
wasn't about
damn
it. wasn't
Nobody
AI.
saw it,
AI was
really?
about fucking robotics and fucking
No, it
computers
was
and
about
shit.
evolution. It was a.
We're not even talking about
isn't that
evolution.
the
We're talking
fucking,
about time
Robin
travel.
We're
Williams?
talking about the future of time travel.
That's
which
the
is
Robin Williams fucking movie,
That's
isn't it?
Bicentennial Man.
You're talking exactly. You're talking about Bicentennial Man, which nobody's talking.
Well,
about.
I saw that one.
It's a terrible film. It's a terrible.
Anybody else want to bring up a movie that no one else in the room has seen?
No, I'm done.
We're all out of line.
I'm done. Bicentennial Man. Take a fucking walk.
Whatever. He was fucking Mork from
It
Mork.
was a bad movie.
He was Mork from Mork.
More
was
from
a-
more.
Yeah, Mork and
You don't
Mindy.
even
What?
fucking
Those
know
are
the
the
name of
goddamn
what you're talking-
70s.
Stop it.
God damn it.
Stop it.
I'm gonna have to get the water bottle. and
yes,
just start
a
spraying
little
you
spray
too.
bottle, a little spritz. We'll do you.
He's from
being
the
quiet.
future. He hates water. It's going to kill him.
Yeah, he's a goobag.
He's an alien.
I'm being quiet, Dan.
So it is funny though. So if we're gonna play the thought process out on this, they're just future us aliens. Why now? Or why we'll say post 1950s on?
Yeah, what is the, like, even if they were like, oh, we got to travel back to this time to warn them. It's like, dude, you're like a couple years late.
yeah.
Yeah, you're way behind the fucking ball, 8 ball on that one.
When they do that in movies, the reason that there's usually a particular time period they travel back to is that they are traveling back to a very particular person who was very relevant in their space-time
Oh
continuum.
yeah, you're
Not
John
defending
Connor,
it.
you're
I'm just
Sarah
saying.
Connor.
No, you're talking about future movies though, since you're a fucking alien.
Well, obviously, I've seen all of the
I
movies.
think
we
he
grew
only
up
studied
on
us
those.
through our media.
Oh, so it's like Demolition Man.
Honestly, if you want to get
All
into
right,
that,
so he's
some of
Sandra
my
Bullock, I
favorite
got
movies
it.
came from 2040. Like, they were just fucking phenomenal.
Do they get better?
I love them. Do they get better than what?
Like what we have now.
Than
There's
what
not
you
a
have
whole
now?
lot of
Oh,
it.
yeah, absolutely. Your movies now suck.
Excellent.
But no, absolutely. No, they're phenomenal films.
Well, thanks for that
Phenomenal
little
films.
tidbit of
You're
hope.
welcome. You guys won't live through it because honestly, you guys are looking
No,
forward to a pretty big
I'm
war.
questioning about killing myself right now.
But man, let me tell you, like, if you manage to survive it, great movies. Great movie. You got 10 years of good movies.
Okay, thanks.
10 years of good
Wait,
movies.
wait,
Probably
wait.
won't survive it though.
What's the time span of that? Like where the good movies are?
Well, it was like 98% of humans got wiped out in that. But then you guys built some sort of a nuclear engine. I don't understand it. But you've probably gotten to like 2038. You're going to be good.
Oh, okay.
And then it's like smooth sailing.
Well, that's not too far.
It's not too far at all. No, you'll be good after that. Yeah. Just get until there and you're solid.
Nice.
You are really muddying the waters, my friend.
Something to look forward to.
What is that? Is that like that's like a 21st century colloquialism?
yes.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, we had water back then.
Yeah. Oh, can you give me some to bring back?
We had plastic bags in abundance.
You are talking about stealing our water now. You.
Oh.
You.
Well, listen,
Walked right into that.
I'm not going to lie to you. Part of the reason I was sent back was to steal water.
So you were sent back.
Yeah. I'm not going to say that, even though I just did.
But as a time cop, can you arrest water?
Oh, you can absolutely arrest water.
No, you would
only if
confiscate.
You seize assets.
No, only if it's committed
out
a
of my
crime.
traffic
No,
tickets.
actually, Justin, I'm going to correct you. In the future, water is actually an identity. So if you identify as water, then
like
that
Futurama.
actually does count as an arrest. So
My God.
I would need the actual paperwork for it, which I do not have.
I have a question.
But
Is
search
that-
and seizure is a thing still.
Oh, I can't imagine it would go away.
Believe me, you have no rights in the future either. Go ahead, Dan.
Is that so? In the future, if you're arresting water, is that considered gender fluid?
Ooh.
Oh, wow. Great question. Great
Man.
question. Yeah.
Thank you. I like that. I like that.
Dan, to answer your question, in the future, where I come from, if I needed to arrest water for committing a crime, whatever the case may be, obviously there's a myriad of crimes. It's a very fluid case. Then you're under the jurisdiction of a crime which is in itself fluid, right? So there's not really a lot of ways to pen it in. So for example, if Moses was just walking down the street, in the future, I could identify him as water because our identities are pretty fluid. Again, just repeating the terms. I could arrest him for that and then charge him for whatever the case may be. But it's all in the idea that we're building a better society where we all live better together.
So it's Minority Report. So
I'm
I
sorry.
have a
I'm
question.
very uncomfortable with the idea that you're speaking your mind while I'm speaking.
Well, you're in a
because
different
I
time,
come
buddy.
from a time.
You're in a different time, and I'm a goddamn American.
I come from a time where that just really is not. We don't do that typically, and we will circle back to what you have to say. I'm hoping that Dan has you executed, but I don't know. It could really go in either
I
direction.
mean, if
I'm just worried about the
Dan,
heroin trade.
I'm very uncomfortable with the fact that you even just spoke up at all. But again, I come from a different time. So in the future, we just have this very fluid way of looking at things where people have the right to just be whoever they want to be, to enjoy life as it is, to just kind of soak it in. And to bring it back to that alien concept, we don't believe in that. We believe that no matter where you came from, you've got rights and you can identify yourself however you see fit. And that's why I look down on this society that I'm visiting for this time period. But I will tell you that we don't tolerate anything that's happening here right now. That's just not a thing. The idea that, Moses, that you thought that you could speak in that moment, that's just offensive to my people.
Oh, good. I'm an offensive person.
Yeah. Dan, are you going to stop him?
No.
No.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't.
Yeah,
That's not my job.
I feel so out of my element. You guys have so much to learn.
And your element is in water. We've guaranteed that.
So much to learn.
So what
I'm
is
happy
there
to
in
be here,
abundance
though.
of?
I'm happy to be here.
Are you not comprised of mostly water?
Yeah, did you guys not figure that out? Like
No, we
humans are
do
like-
we do a silicon thing.
So you're
Oh,
Oh,
so
so
you-
you fully transitioned.
Yeah, absolutely.
all right.
Are you guys? Did you like? I'm sorry, I don't know.
So
exactly
it's a time of
what year I'm
fleshlights.
in.
You're
but
all fake fucks.
I thought that I was in
just
2023,
LA.
so you guys knew who Elon Musk was.
So LA did take over. All right.
Yeah.
So it is Demolition Man. I got it.
No, we
All
all
right.
we all got like the chips in our heads in 2024 from Elon.
Oh yeah, those came out recently.
Neuralink.
Thank
yeah.
you, Elon.
Yeah. Well,
So
I'm
narrowing is
I'm
a
legitimately
thing, right?
apologizing. I thought that I was sent back to 2023, and I thought that you guys all knew about the Neuralink.
I've heard tell.
Is
Oh
it
yeah,
2023?
no, it's honestly, it's a godsend.
Oh, wow.
It allows you to do everything.
Wow,
It's
it-
a
it-
Greater
you know,
world.
I guess the rollout hasn't quite started yet, but
Yeah.
I'm imagining
Maybe I was a year
did
too
it
late.
happen through the Great and Mighty X?
Well, no, we all know and worship X, obviously, but no, Elon.
X gonna give it to you.
Elon, yeah. I don't know what that
You think
means.
this is a game, motherfucker?
I don't know. I just know that Elon did it right by us, and we were able to advance.
Is he one of you?
One of who?
Future alien, whatever.
We're all the
whatever.
same, Moses.
But
We're all the same.
is Elon from your time, or is he actually from our time?
Oh no, he's obviously a deity.
He barely fits in his
doesn't know
so-called
time.
human body.
I want to
no
hear it from the
time.
source of the future.
Yeah, no, Elon, if that's a serious question, then no, Elon does not know time. He only knows the meaning of space and continuity throughout the universe. That's why he's able to invent as he was. He was trying to give something to you people, and thank God that
What
we
do you
were
mean,
able to
you
embrace
people?
it. Humans.
All right, so if I can take the reins for a second here.
There it's
We were talking about aliens before. Oh my God, what has happened in this podcast?
the chain is over there because we're off it.
So, with you and your higher level of knowledge or whatever the fuck,
Thank you.
Can you answer this question? Are animals actually aliens?
No, animals are the greatest gift that the planet Earth has ever been able to give to humanity.
You mean God?
I guess you could put it that way. Yeah. No, I just think that animals are better than people.
That's fair.
Is that an answer?
No, that's not an answer. That did not answer the
I
question
believe
at
that
all.
now. I believe that now.
Yeah.
So let's bring it back to the guys who are actually answering questions and participating.
I am really trying to unscramble my brain right now.
No, this is right in my realm.
This is
It's a whole process.
Moses. This is where you
Yeah, I
shine
completely
for once.
understand everything that's going on right now, and this is a first for me, so I'm a little taken aback, but still rolling with the punches.
Well, thanks for showing up.
Yeah, I'm here.
Moses, you own a lot of cats.
I do.
What do you think of the idea?
You can't own cats. I'm sorry, Dan.
Oh
You
my
can't
God, will
own
you
them.
stop interrupting me with your Elon Musk bullshit?
You can't own cats.
And I hate to do this, but in his defense, he's right. I don't own those cats. They own me. Especially when you have so many. It's no longer a thing that you can control. It's just you get by day to day.
It's a life of service, I imagine.
And it's not so much service because you don't really have to do anything anyway, but you're concerned that you do.
Well, that's what they make you think.
Yeah, well, it's just like it's more of a human nature because like people have this with children, and they want to they feel like they need to take care of them. Kinda. I mean, I've seen a lot of Ricky Lake and whatever, but I too am from the past.
This is a very long preamble, Moses, to my question.
Well, there's a lot of nuances and caveats to.
This was all just to the fact that I said you own the cats. I'm sorry, you're in servitude to the cats. What do you think about
It's kind of like Egypt at my house. Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think about the idea that those cats are actually just aliens?
I could believe that because I mean, if you look at what we know of Egypt, and that's a great.
What do you know of
remarkable-
Egypt?
I know very little.
Antonio, not now.
It was a remarkable
You'll
time.
have your moment
of,
again. We appreciate you.
Of structure and building these, big
Pyramids?
pyramids and whatnot. And I know there was a lot of slaves, but cats make slaves of people. They still do to this day.
You're not necessarily wrong.
I mean, you gave an injection. What was it? 85 weeks or something?
Yes, I was a
Something ridiculous.
caregiver to Lord Melvin
Yes.
for
And I mean, that's
3 months.
As noble as it was also, we're all somebody's bitch, and it's usually cats.
Dan, are you familiar with toxoplasmosis?
That actually sounds familiar.
I am.
That is, delightful. That is we call it in this species that I'm visiting.
They sigh.
There is a disease, as we call it in humanity, called toxoplasmosis.
Correct.
Which is a disease that cats give to humans. Apparently,
yeah.
that makes them more friendly to cats. I feel
Makes them more friendly to cats with also the added benefit of also making you more reckless.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then I probably had that before I ever was introduced to a cat.
Is it a disease or is it a parasite?
It's a parasitic disease, as we
It
describe.
sounds
Yeah,
like a bonus because I want more cats.
It is one of those things, and it is kind of. Listen, I don't know the science on this. Is not an educational podcast, folks. Sorry.
Clearly.
I heard about it a half dozen times.
Clearly.
But yes, it is in benefit to the cat.
Yeah.
But also, it has a side effect of having a couple concussions where you lose kind of your impulse
Yeah.
control and stuff like that.
Doesn't it also infect mice because it
Yes,
attracts
it
the
does.
mice to
Yeah.
cat urine?
I'll
Yes.
give my understanding of it is that the gist of it is that it causes you, when you're in proximity to any type of feline, then it causes you to, without your knowledge, you become much more friendly towards any member of the feline species. So that could be like a house cat or a lion. And on top of that, it causes you to, I guess it kind of ties in with that actually. If you're a rat who becomes infected, you generally have a notion that you want to go and interact with a cat, which is obviously lethal for you. The cat will kill you, and
Debatably.
eat you. Yeah. Well,
I mean, nowadays it's not that way.
eat
They are
rats.
fickle creatures.
Are you saying debatably over Tom and Jerry type scenarios where it's more lethal for the cat?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying it's lethal for the cat either.
What
but,
happens in your house?
A whole lot of. Well, we don't have.
There's a bulldog snoring, and he just props him up on a mouse trap.
It's a pit bull.
And listen, if we're gonna play a
and he
numbers
thinks
game,
he's a cat.
you definitely have toxoplasmosis.
I probably do. But I also had this predisposition to be like that because I always had reckless abandon as a kid.
It apparently results in an affinity that humans have for cats above and beyond. And apparently my understanding of it is that it results in you, like the notion that we have where it's like you look at a kitten, for example, and you're like, it's a very cute animal. Apparently it enhances that sentiment. So it basically just causes a predatory animal that could potentially be an opponent. It causes you to look at it and say, maybe I want to be friends with that.
Is it like the way it's transmitted? Is it more of like, for lack of a better term, aromatic? Or is it a parasite, legit, like
the
it
parasite,
crawls in you?
The parasite procreates, so it has a multi-stage life cycle. My understanding, I'm going to butcher this.
I believe you are correct.
But basically, it lives inside the cat, lives inside the cat's brain, has no negative effects. So it's like a carrier species, right? So the cat's just fine. Like all cats have it, basically.
It evolved out of that. And
Yeah, exactly. But then when the cat takes a shit, it's the second stage is there. And then when you are around, basically when you're around where a cat took a shit,
Which
then
we
you
all
inhale
are who
that,
own cats
it
because they have
procreates
to-
in you, and it has no negative consequences.
But how does it get there? Like, is it a microbe or something
It's a microbe.
that's like inhaled, or is it something that just attaches to you via skin?
So the way that it moves from cat to cat has to do with like actual body contact. But
Well,
from
I'm curious about cat to
but
human.
From human to cat, it's basically that when you're around a litter box, you're going to inhale. A little
Yes.
bit.
Oh,
If
so
you-
it is
feel physical.
like,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term, aromatic. I can't think of the
Yeah,
proper.
it's not.
aromatic.
I can't think of the proper
It's
term.
not.
for
It's
that.
not
It's
airborne
it's
the
like
way we
exposure.
describe it.
Okay.
Like if you live in a house and you have at minimum one cat living in there, you will be exposed to this.
It's in the air.
Makes
Yeah.
sense because I never had cats until I met my wife, and we had cats.
Wow, complicated, I guess, but
Well, it's like because I was never I didn't like cats weren't a bad thing to me. Like I didn't care. Like I didn't care about cats.
I also was neutral
But-
on cats
Yeah,
until
and now I
Yes.
I enjoy cats because I was around them, but this does lend a lot of credence to why I am in a scientific
They
kind of
have
way.
built into them that they have something built in that makes you like them.
Are they the only ones that have this, or do
It's
other
the only one that
animals?
It's the
In-
only one that I've read about.
in regard to toxoplasmosis, it's as far as I know, there could be other things like that, but
Like the
I
dogs
couldn't
have
tell
this
you.
because everybody seems to enjoy dogs, but
Dogs have actually a different thing, which I've also read about. It's called the Williams syndrome. It's completely different. Has nothing to do with the first thing. So Williams syndrome is a disorder that basically a wolf can have. that causes them to be very friendly towards apex predators.
So they're just more
this
or
is the thing
less
that's known
handicapped, like mentally retarded.
They're retarded in their own way. But the gist of Williams
trying to be as
syndrome,
PC as I could.
Wow, good job.
when a wolf has Williams syndrome, and this is still a disease that exists today in wolves, so it's highly studied. But basically, I learned about this from like a particular wolf that was wandering outside of an Inuit village up in Alaska. But the gist of it is that you've got a wolf pack that wanders through.
You there?
Yeah. I read weird shit.
Oh, all right. Oh, no, the way you made that sound was like, I came across this one day walking out in the wild. I was on the tundra.
I just read weird shit.
The way you phrased it definitely sounded like you had like a personal relationship with this wolf.
That's what I do. Listen,
Well,
I'm an
so
alien,
Dan-
you guys. I don't know what to tell you.
Dan, to answer your question, yes, they're aliens.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Because everything, the way I was going to tie it back is that it just sounds like you're describing an alien power.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is, and yes, they are.
Well, the aliens are the bacteria, Dan.
No, we're just we're going shit inception right now.
We can do whatever you want.
Why does it always come down to shit? Usually it's me bringing it up, but like,
Yeah, be
oh,
very
man.
careful where you tread right now.
Yeah, because you're gonna step in something.
You're building a reputation.
Yeah, everyone believes it was you who just took a shit. And
I don't give a shit what they believe.
I do love that they all jumped on that bandwagon.
I've been around. Sometimes you gotta get out of your gas truck and fucking live the world.
Oh my goodness.
Justin, I actually never got a chance to ask you the question because
Okay.
we went on a whole tirade about parasites.
Antonio over there knew how to get me with toxoplasmosis. So, are animals aliens? You know what? They fucking might as well be because
That's how we
I
decided.
am so
this.
confused right now.
Everything is alien to us right now.
Yeah.
This has been a bizarre podcast.
Especially our guest.
Oh, yeah.
This podcast has been an absolute ride so far. So, can I just interject real quick?
Yes, of course.
Because there is one thing that I wanted to, through our jumping around and many varied tangents, we missed what happened in Mexico.
Ah, that's right.
Yes.
Oh, the body.
Yes. So just recently, and this is my understanding, like I said, I'm not a deep dive guy, but what I have seen is that I believe it was 2 mummified alien,
Oh, it was 2.
I think so, I might be wrong, mummified alien bodies were presented to, I believe, the Mexican Parliament, and I might be missing some stuff in the middle, but they ended up being cake.
I know what you're talking about, but because I saw the cake thing as well.
Yeah.
And I saw that original thing where they found some mummified.
Right, it's supposedly
body
found
of
in like Peru a long time ago.
And I didn't know if the cake thing was just like a precursor to a Netflix show.
I did actually look into
But-
this a little. No, and I know what you're saying.
'Cause there's
it's that
that-
cake
yeah.
show where anything can be cake.
Yeah, I've worked at a bakery, and the person I worked under was very she could do that.
Oh, she was very good at that,
She could
yeah,
make
yeah.
something look as
She
real
always
as you
was.
think.
She is very good at that. But yes, so I only saw some like the high brass people that went before the American subcommittee were saying how it only hurts their argument because this shit ended up being cake.
So they dug up cake?
No, they didn't dig up cake. It was God damn it. It was
You're right, Moses.
I don't know.
this guy made these things out of cake. And they're like, it's a whole fucking thing. But no, they did not dig up old cake out of the ground in the shape of alien.
According to Moses, they did.
I don't see why they couldn't.
It's just wild. So like I said, I don't know the full story top to bottom. But what it seemed like from my angle is that these things were presented to the Mexican Parliament and they just ended up being cake.
What
In my
I
defense, they have these like Spanish or Mexican
Same thing.
underground
Railroads.
barbecues.
Oh.
Where they bury the food and like let it cook I forget exactly what it's called.
Nice.
Sure.
I love that he's defending it right now. I love this.
Continue.
And like that's some goddamn good eating. You know, like you make some kind of barbacoa or something like that. So why couldn't they make a cake like that?
I don't even know what to say to you right now.
I'm saying it's possible.
You know what?
Good
I have
Lord.
no follow-up. That was great. That was great.
The closest thing that I can think of to what you just mentioned, Moses, is that there was a show on Fox. I think it was called Stand By Me or something, and it had Christopher Lloyd or whatever his name was, and they literally had like an encounter with an alien. They stuck him in the fridge, and then they ended up eating him. And that's the closest thing in my mental dictionary.
They barbecue underground, like they bury it, and like they don't bury it for that long, but like it's maybe like 12 hours or something like that.
Why would that matter?
Well, they don't dig it up and be like, oh, look, I just found a dinosaur. They just do beef ribs.
They do find whole dinosaurs down there.
They were planted there by Democrats, and you fucking know it.
I don't know who did it. I don't pay attention to parties. I just like to be invited to them.
I couldn't find anything about them being cake, Justin.
Yep, no.
I did find that someone made cake in the mold of
the reason why it became confusing is because one of the guys that testified for the American subcommittee, it's a mix. No one knows what actually happened, it seems, but he was saying how these things ended up actually being cake hurt what they're trying to do here in America, their argument.
I could see that.
So it's wild.
My bottom line about it is this, and I'll sum it up as succinctly as I possibly can. It's the Mexican Congress, not the Parliament.
Oh, Congress, sure.
Yeah. And the Congress of Mexico certified that Will Smith was the one to save us from those aliens that they discovered.
Is that true?
That is true. That's a fact.
Really?
Yeah, that's a fact.
That's ridiculous.
I know, it is
That guy can't even
ridiculous,
save his
but
own marriage.
And that's my point, though. It's that this country is dedicating so many resources towards these other things. Meanwhile, we've got aliens who are coming into this goddamn country.
They're doing committees.
And they're so busy fighting amongst themselves, the Democrats and the Republicans, that we need the Mexican government to be the ones with Will Smith to shut that down. That's sad. This is the most powerful country in the world, and yet here we are, depending upon what I will describe as a third world country to defend us from that.
You're all over the map. Are you allowed to be
kind of all over the
time cop?
I could see. I would accept.
I don't have to own up to this until I get back.
I would accept the Mexican government, but when they start spracking out Will Smith, your credibility is a little lost.
Woohoo!
All right,
That's all I got.
I did want to read this
It is
before we
wild,
closed
wild
up
west.
shop on this Mexican alien corpse thing. From the New York Post, UFO expert displays supposed non-human alien corpses in Mexico's Congress. We are not alone.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it had that connotation. All right.
Mexican politicians were shown two mummified corpses this week.
Two. Oh, so it was two. All right.
Yeah, keep reading.
That a UFO expert claimed are a clear demonstration of non-human aliens. The two bodies, with only 3 fingers on each hand and elongated ET-style heads, which should probably be a warning sign, were displayed in windowed boxes Tuesday for a public congressional hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomena.
No, I hate that word.
The corpses,
It is a mouthful.
The corpses are between 700 and 1,800 years old, with X-rays showing one has mysterious eggs inside.
Well, don't hatch those.
Cadbury.
UFO.
Nice. Oh, I love those.
What is this title? UFOologist?
Oh,
That's a
ufologist, yeah.
Jamie.
Ufologist?
Yeah, ufologist.
Ufologist?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'm into it.
Jamie Musin told the hearing, "We are not alone."
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Why is he so ominous?
I don't know.
They can't help themselves.
You're talking to, first of all, Mexican Congress, so it's got to be like corrupt as shit. Not that our Congress isn't.
Oh, yeah, they're just not as apparent.
So you got to get them away from the cocaine and all the fucking hookers. And like, all right, what do you got? They're like, oh, I got alien corpses here. I'm like, okay,
I'm into it.
Honestly, if you take those 2 things away, it sounds like a will to die.
All right, I'm sorry. I just had to get that tangent out there. Otherwise, I'd be a little bereft with myself. But yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because I would have been upset when we wrap this all up and like we didn't talk about the Mexican alien. I'm like, oh, the Mexican alien.
That's all I've been talking about the whole time.
That's what you have been talking about the whole time.
Thank you, Dan.
to spell it out for the audience.
You'd think you'd have easier words in the future to describe it.
Maybe when I go back.
All right, guys, let's go out on a nice little high note here, and let's talk about, I don't know what you consider a movie from the future, so maybe we'll save you for
Yeah, tell us about some of these.
Independence Day, but I am willing to cycle back on that.
Let's talk about some of the movies that we enjoyed with, with the central theme being alien encounters and all that. Moses, would you like to?
I'm going to bring up Alien Nation. It was a movie and a TV show.
I distinctly remember Alien Nation.
And I remember it. Like I never watched too much of it, but I remember the guy, the lead being one of them bald and obviously alien.
Correct.
But this is a time, like it was set in a time where aliens made themselves known.
Are you talking about Coneheads?
No.
No, but
Alien
we won't-
Nation is you should know this. Yeah. Well, he brought it up last time, but like Alien Nation, it's a cop. It's a buddy cop movie.
It is.
and it became a TV show of. So I don't know how long it lasted,
like
but
as a series, maybe a couple seasons.
maybe two seasons if
yeah.
that. But
it was essentially then the premises because it doesn't.
And they're both
premises, like,
cops.
the aliens came and they integrated into whatever this city is, and now it's buddy cop.
it was kind of like that Will Smith movie with that. It was more like D&D, but it was like alien kind of like it was a weird. Like I forgot what that was called.
That Amazon Prime.
Maybe it was Amazon.
That
Was
he
it Amazon?
did. I can't remember what it was, but yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know if you've seen that, Mr. Rasputin.
So are we going to do exclusively where aliens come to us? To this,
I would just leave it up to like any kind of alien movie.
okay. So there's so many.
I would also like to give a nod to Critters because I think Critters is an awesome fucking
Critters
series.
is one of my earliest memories.
Agreed. That's one of mine, too, as
My grandfather
well.
loved that movie, and we watched it all the time.
I love that the alien, like the bounty hunter aliens,
Oh, yes.
were just amorphous. Like the
They
question, if you know DC,
Exactly right.
yeah, like, and they can just be whoever they need to be. Like it kind of like Terminator, where he's just kind of
The T-1000.
where
yeah.
he just can be whatever he
Amorphous
needs
can look
to
like
be.
anybody, yes.
But they weren't made of like metal or whatever he was supposed to be made of.
Critters, obviously, big one
And
for me.
that was fun.
Also, when I was young, which is, I mean, it is still technically an alien movie, the 1980s remake of The Blob.
The Blob is a great
Yep.
one. The Blob is a great fucking movie.
That one, I watched that when I was 3, and it traumatized me for a long time.
It did the same to me. Like I watched I think it was like the 50s or something
The
like that.
50s one, yeah.
And that, like, I was scared of that for no real, like in retrospect, but like as a young kid at like fucking 5 or 7, like I was scared to shit of that because they should like it just rolled over the humans and it just dissolved them to bones. It was like I keep going back to these D&D things, but it was like a gelatinous cube. It was just like it. And you're done.
Of kind of that era, maybe a little bit before. I can't remember the name. Oh, Cocoon. I remembered it.
Cocoon, like
Wilford Brimley.
No, and Steve Guttenberg.
Yep.
Yes, I remember that movie. I didn't watch it enough to really for it to take because it was at this time in my life where I didn't care.
It was on HBO all the time.
Yeah.
when I was a
It
kid.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it might have been on Pix 11 or whatever the fuck it was called.
Let's let our other people contribute because
I was going to say, just because you mentioned Wilford Brimley, another great Wilford Brimley, a movie that he's in that has an alien in it is The Thing.
oh yes, that's
Oh,
right.
right, he is in The Thing.
Yeah.
Great
That
movie.
is a
Yeah,
great movie.
yeah.
The remake was terrible.
The remake was. I'm obviously talking about the
original.
The original
I don't,
John Carpenter.
I don't stand up
Well, not
for
the original
much.
one, because the original one, as we established on a different podcast, that was like from like in like the 50s or something like that.
Oh, that's
I'm talking
fair.
about the one with Kurt Russell.
No,
Kurt
the,
Russell's,
the
yeah,
60s,
that
the
was-
70s or
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. The other one that I would also mention while I'm talking is Predator.
Oh, Predator. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, fucking Alien.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Predator,
that was
Aliens.
The obvious one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely forgot about it because it was just
We
like
were going
Despite
more
that it has
niche
it in
than
there.
interface.
it's just called
You definitely went deep cut early.
Yeah, I think because you started talking, then you keyed me into something I remembered from when I was very young. So now I was just like working my
Yeah,
way
like-
up through.
I'm gonna go a little sideways with
Please.
it.
We haven't already.
Event
girl.
Horizon.
Oh, Event
Event Horizon. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
It's an alien movie.
It is.
It is.
It is.
It
Yeah.
is.
It's another universe.
One of Sam Neill's, and
Greatest
many
films.
people's best performances.
Is that the one when he goes? Well, I guess he goes crazy in almost all of
Yeah,
them.
it's the Do You See?
Yeah,
do you see?
That's what, all right.
Like the audience.
That's
Where
the
we're
one.
going, we don't
Yeah.
need eyes. Or whatever the line
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Like the audience can't with this podcast.
Yeah.
That's why we're not visual.
If I can lean into more niche stuff. So when I was younger, I watched this ill-fated show called Sequest on
I
TV.
love that.
And
Yeah.
it went for several seasons.
That kid killed himself.
Oh, yes.
Jonathan Brandis?
Jonathan Brandis, yes.
Yeah.
So it takes place on a super advanced submarine, blah, 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 blah. I think in a submarine, they first introduced aliens in the second season.
Yeah.
And then aliens are a big part of the third season to where it ends with the Sequest submarine on a different planet.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I never, like, I know it,
Sequest,
but
Sliders
DSV,
meets blank.
deep sea vehicle in
Sliders.
space.
Sliders has nothing to do with
also
it.
had-
Good fucking callback.
They also had Mark Hamill
old,
play
too.
the alien.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
I was like when you said that with the submarine, it made me. It reminded me of Abyss, and I don't know if that's Alien or if that's just some kind of weird thing from Earth. I don't remember.
I don't remember
I haven't
that-
seen it in forever, but
Well, I'll tell you what, you bringing that up is going to make me rewatch The Abyss soon because I haven't seen it in 20 years, I
it
think.
seemed like it was an Alien thing, but because it was still done by what is it, Ridley Scott? I think.
Ridley
so.
Scott.
I think so.
I think
Scott
it was,
Ridley.
but I'm not
No,
entirely sure of that. But
Does anybody remember Earth 2?
I do. Oh my God, I so fucking do. Holy shit. Can we have a side conversation about that?
Yes, later. If the aliens that would just pop up out of the ground.
Oh, so pissed. It's so cool.
isn't that like a Langoliers kind of thing?
What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know how to connect that show to the Langoliers.
Yeah.
I thought the Langoliers kind of popped up, like it was like a
The Stephen
invasion
King
of the
thing?
body. Like it was because all Stephen King things wind up to be fucking aliens.
They're all just in Maine.
Yeah, well, it's all like regardless of where the setting is,
it's not
they're
regardless.
all fucking aliens. They'd all be like Pennywise is an alien. It's
Do correct me if I am wrong.
fucking
Isn't the
Dreamcatcher. It's an
Langoliers
alien.
the airplane one?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's correct.
I
It
don't
was
know how to
disappointing.
continue with that.
It was disappointing.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not
was
saying it was good. I'm
disappointing.
just saying like I thought Langoliers like popped up kind of out of the ground.
I don't know why you thought that.
It's been fucking ages since I've seen it.
Yeah, clearly. Clearly.
Holy cow. Yeah,
Send us
sorry,
out, Dan. I am done with this.
I'm trying to go for the deep dive ones just because I think a lot of them are obvious. Holy shit, the TV shows, the wild TV show. I mean, obviously, in Mork and Mindy.
Yeah.
Well, Mork and
already,
Mindy,
already got
yeah.
mentioned.
Yeah, oh, that was already mentioned. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct, yeah.
Well, that was really more of a little side comment
Yeah,
by
yeah.
Moses. I actually want to jump in real quick
Please.
because there was one episode, and it's so out of like the blue in the series because it's Married with Children. Whereas the one episode where there's the alien.
Oh
and
my
they're-
God, you're right.
And they
I don't remember
crash
that.
and they fuel their like flying saucer with Al's socks.
Yes.
And Al's the only one that ever sees them.
They were simpler times then.
It was a better TV was easier then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Oh my God.
That makes me think of like a Third Rock from the Sun,
Oh,
where
wow.
fucking
All
John
right.
Lithgow
John-
and
oh, yeah,
We
yeah, a
all
bunch of
know
people.
this show.
Yeah.
that was
that
a
young
decent
kid
show.
who
That
was
was
in a
good
lot
show.
of movies that I can't remember his name.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
yeah.
Wow.
Jane Curtin was in that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna be on the way home. I'm just gonna be like
yes.
cracking them off. Like
You're gonna make me
fuck, I
pay
should've
for it.
said
I
this.
know.
Let Dan do his thing.
Well, if you enjoyed this podcast and we got you to believe in aliens or of anything of that nature, you should also believe in subscribing to this podcast. Leave us a 5-star review. Check us out on YouTube and Rumble. Make sure you like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell. Follow us on social media. We are at Loud and Drunk on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you enjoyed this podcast, then become a Loud and Drunk supporter at loudanddrunk.locals.com and patreon.com/loudanddrunk. So, Moses, do you have any closing thoughts?
If you're out there surfing the alien, always bring a towel.
Don't forget to bring a towel. There's so many South Park references in
Yes.
this episode.
Well, that was a Douglas Adams thing.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure the don't forget to bring a towel kind of little nod was not
Towel
that.
is the most important thing you can bring on your travel when you're hitchhiking across the galaxy.
Justin, save me from this and give your closing thoughts.
Oh, I can't. I had a great time. And he said surfing the aliens. So Joe Satriani, baby. Wow, 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 wow,
Fuck yeah, I'm putting that on the ride home.
Of course you are. Antonio!
Very nice being here. So nice hanging out with everybody.
yes, an
We just had a great time. It's just it's so wonderful.
Your kayfabe has been all over the fucking map in this
It's
episode.
not kayfabe.
I don't know what you're talking
He's
about.
doing a closing curtain call.
And like a curtain call, it's a kick to the nads.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so for Moses,
Are we still talking?
Shut up.
I'm talking.
I didn't know Sofia Vergara was here.
Please include that.
All right, Rosie Perez. What,
Well, she speak good and everything.
what you talking about? So for Justin,
Billy.
so for Justin, Moses, and Antonio, I am Dan. Thank you for joining us. And until next time, this is Loud and Drunk.